Hello everyone, I'm Mihoko. Do you know haiku? Haiku is a Japanese poem. Haiku is a very short poem. It has only 3 lines. Haiku is the shortest poem in the world. I'll introduce you to 4 haiku by the 4 great haiku masters. I'll tell them in Japanese first, so please listen to the sounds of the Japanese haiku. The first one by Basho. 古池や河津飛び込む水の音。The second one by Buson. 菜の花や月は東に日は西に。The third one by Issa. やれうつなハエが手をすり足をする。The fourth one by Shiki. 赤とんぼつくばに雲もなかりけり。Haiku is describing one particular sight which aroused some emotion. Haiku is connected with one moment and the emotion of that moment. In haiku, you describe what you are watching. I mean, you cannot write about the past things, your memories. You cannot write about the future things. Write about what you are watching in the present. The readers create an image by using their imagination and think what the poet feels in his haiku. Next, I'll repeat the same Japanese haiku with their English translations. Each haiku has an image, so create an image with your imagination. The first one, 古池や河津飛び込む水の音。An old pond, a frog jumps in, water sound. The second one, 菜の花や月は東に日は西に。The field of red flowers. The moon is in the east. The sun is in the west. The third one. やれうつなハエが手をすり足をする。Oh, don't sweat. A fly rubs hands, rubs feet. The fourth one. 赤とんぼつくばに雲もなかりけり。Red dragonflies over Mount Tsukuba, no clouds. Next, I'll show you 4 haiku I told you. A frog jumps into a pond making a sound. Basho composed this haiku. Where is Basho? He is by the pond. He sees a frog jumping into the water and hears its sound. Basho could hear even a small sound of splash. He feels silence in this haiku. We'll go to the next haiku. Do you know red flowers? They are red flowers. They have yellow flowers. In Japan, red flowers bloom in spring. The sun has moved over to the western sky, and the moon is rising in the east. What time of the day is it? Evening. Buson is watching the setting sun and the rising moon over the field of yellow flowers. Buson does not use any words like beautiful or white in this haiku, but we can imagine a beautiful and wild scenery from this haiku. Buson is sketching nature. This haiku is as beautiful as a picture. Buson is a great haiku master, and he is also a famous painter. We'll go to this haiku. This haiku is very unique. It's about a fly, a tiny insect. Do you like flies? No? Why? Most people don't like flies because they're dirty, unclean. Someone is going to swat a fly, and Issa is watching the scene. To Issa, the fly seems to be pleading for his life. He feels a pity for the fly. For Issa, even the small life of a fly is important. Issa wrote lots of haiku about small life, such as baby birds, grasshopper, frogs, and so on. His haiku always bring us warm feeling and sympathy for the weak creatures. His haiku is very unique. We'll go to the next haiku. Shiki is watching Mount Tsukuba far away. Countless red dragonflies are flying. The season is autumn. The mountain is covered with beautifully colored leaves. How is the weather? No cloud, meaning clear blue sky. We can imagine a beautiful autumn scenery from this haiku. Shiki is sketching nature. He respects Buson very much. I introduce you to 4 haiku by the 4 great haiku masters. From the ancient times, traditional Japanese poems have been composed in 2 verses. The first verse has 3 lines of 5-7-5 syllables. The second verse has 2 lines, 7-7 syllables. The Japanese people have appreciated 5-7-5 syllables make especially rhythmic sounds. In most cases, 2 verses were composed by one poet, but in some cases, 2 verses were composed by a different poet. From the 15th through 16th century, Renga linked verse poetry became very popular. The standard length of one renga had 100 verses. In renga, the initial verse has 3 lines of 5-7-5 syllables. The second verse has 2 lines of 7-7 syllables. For making one renga, two types of verses with the same number of syllables were composed alternately. The initial verse, second verse, the third verse, 5, 7, 5 syllables. The fourth verse, 7, 7 syllables. So in this way, two types of verses with the same number of syllables were composed alternately. The initial verse was called hokku. The initial verse was called hokku. Hokku contained a season word and a cutting word. Haiku originated from the initial verse of renga. In the late 17th century, Basho established hokku as an independent art. Basho is the greatest haiku master. In the late 19th century, Shiki coined the word haiku. Now you know what haiku is like. Do you want to write haiku yourself? Haiku is easy to write. I'll give you 4 simple rules for writing haiku. First, when you write haiku, how many lines do you write? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 lines. When you write haiku, what do you write about? We'll go back to this haiku. Pond, frog, water, red flowers, the moon, the sun, fly, red dragonflies. What words are they? Nature. When you write haiku, write about anything in nature. Can you write your memories, the past things, when you write haiku? No. Can you write about the future things when you write haiku? No. When you write haiku, describe what you are watching in the present. Do you think the words used in haiku are difficult? No. Haiku is not difficult to understand because the words used in haiku are simple and direct. So when you write haiku, use simple and direct words as much as possible. There are 4 simple rules for writing haiku. First, write in 3 lines. Second, write about anything in nature. Third, write about what you are watching now. Fourth, use simple and direct words. Now you can enjoy writing haiku. If you have more knowledge about the Japanese haiku, I think you must know the classical Japanese haiku has 2 fixed rules. One rule is haiku has 17 syllables. It means 5 syllables on the first line, 7 syllables on the second line, and 5 syllables on the third line. The other rule is haiku contains a season word. First, I'll tell you about syllables. In Japanese writing, there are 3 kinds of writing, and hiragana letters are one of them. There are hiragana letters. How many letters are there on the first line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. How about the second line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the third line. As you see, in Japanese, one letter has one syllable. In Japanese, a syllable is a letter sound. A syllable is a letter sound. How about English? For example, cat, 3 alphabets. How many syllables are there in these 3 alphabets? 1. So, syllables are different between Japanese and English. And also, I think from the ancient times, the Japanese people have appreciated 5, 7, 5 syllables make especially rhythmic sounds. In this point, Japanese syllables are different from English syllables. So when you write haiku, you can forget about syllables. Write in 3 lines. Next, I'll tell you about a season word. In Japan, season words are determined by books listing words for each season: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Japan has 4 clear seasons. But Japanese season words are not universal. So when you write haiku, you can forget about a season word. Write about anything in nature. I hope you could learn more about Japanese haiku. So please enjoy haiku. Thank you.